Welcome to FedScoop TV. I'm Wyatt Cash, and welcome to our special series on advancing digital government in the cloud. I'm here today with Maria Roat. Maria is the CIO at the Small Business Administration. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We wanted to talk a little about some of your observations about where the availability of cloud computing, either as a platform or as an infrastructure as a service, is making the biggest impact at your agency over the past year.
Well, for SBA, we're shutting down one of our data centers, so we're moving very quickly to the cloud. In the last 6 months, we've put a lot of plans in place moving out of our data center, which we really need to get out of due to, things are old, failing, all of those kinds of things. So we're moving very fast into the cloud. And while we are doing some platform as a service, for the agency overall, I think we're going to see a lot more software as a service. I think software as a service is we take more of an enterprise view. I've got this project going on right now, getting out of our data center, but as we're getting out of that data center, laying that foundational work, I see more software as a service as we take the next step, which is an enterprise view of SBA, what it does with its data, how it works with and interacts with the customers, those small businesses across the U.S., and how it interacts with them, and really look at how we do that work. And I think there's going to be a lot more software as a service, looking at those kind of platforms rather than just pure infrastructure as a service. We're going to be out of some of that business of developing.
Well, I'd like to also ask, migrating to cloud computing is not just a technology lift, it's also kind of a change management lift. And I'm curious how you've kind of gone through, better enabling your agency to adjust with that change.
So there's a couple of things on the workforce. So within the workforce that I have, directly within the office of the CIO, I have about 60 people. And those folks really focusing them on, learning the cloud, how to spin up VMs, how to manage the environments. There needs to be a lot of training. Folks who are doing things differently, we're shifting to a services organization, so there needs to be a lot of training. We also have a lot of IT personnel outside the immediate office of the CIO. So I'm not looking at just my office, I'm looking at what do I need to do for the entire workforce, because those IT folks that are out there in the field, supporting the program offices, they may not be doing anything yet. With the cloud, they may have some exposure to it. So we're inviting them to a lot of the work we're doing with our Tiger teams on moving to the cloud. But, bringing them in, what do they need for training? Because I've got to look out over the next few years and look at the workforce, the competency, where we need to go as a workforce, what training's needed, do we have the right skill sets on board? As people retire, I may not do a one-for-one replacement on the same skill set. So bringing in, people who know newer technology, being able to do the development, all of those kind of things. One of the other things I'm doing to communicate where we're going and really hit on that culture piece is, here's our vision, here's where we're moving. We are moving very quickly to the cloud. We're shutting down a data center. My challenge to the team is get me down to 4 racks in our main data center. But communicating that, and I've had a number of IT forums for all the IT personnel in the agency, as well as the contractor staff. So it's very clear, here's where we're headed, this is where the train's going, you need to be on that train, and I will help you, whether it's training, for the federal employees. And so the contractor staff knows where we're going as well, so we don't want to do the same old thing all the time. This is where we're going. But being able to communicate that and share the vision, and here's where we're going, but putting things in place, updating position descriptions, training, all of those things, and getting people on the bus.
Great. Can you share a little of examples of how cloud computing has helped to optimize your IT operations over the past year?
I have no examples of how it's optimized it over the past year, but where we're headed, what the work we've done over the last 5 months or so, cleaning up our data center, setting the stage to move to the cloud in the next couple of months, as well as laying out the vision for SBA. SBA has offices all over the country. All over, more than 100 offices, including Puerto Rico. So we've got offices everywhere. The staff there does counseling with entrepreneurs, small business owners, does a lot of work on, educating on loans and all the programs, mentor protege, all kinds of programs that SBA has for veterans and everybody. But how do we communicate to the people so they don't have 4 hours of windshield time to get to an office? And I'm taking advantage of the cloud around unified communications, those type of capabilities. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're sitting at home, you're in the middle of the Midwest, it's 4 or 5 hour drive time to an office, why can't you video somebody instead of just emailing or chatting? Why can't you video? And really thinking through in the long term how we can take advantage of cloud to put things in place like that, to take to really engage those customers that we have, those small businesses. So I think things like unified communications, really taking advantage of the cloud is going to get us a long way in interfacing with our customers.
Let's talk about those customers a little bit more and looking ahead. How do you see cloud computing helping to really enable your agency to deliver more digital services or improve the digital experience for your customers?
We've got some work to do on that front. We've got a lot of programs across SBA. Some things do have a different look and feel. How do we unify that experience so that when someone comes into the SBA, regardless of the application they're using, the loan they're applying for, looking up how to write a business plan, how do they have that same experience as they're coming into the SBA? We're doing a lot of work right now on SBA.gov, so anybody who's been on that site will see that we're slowly changing the site little by little. So the interface is changing. We're trying to get more information up front for those customers out there. And really unifying the experience, because if you go to one program office today, you may have to provide that same information to a separate program office. How do I on the back end, for me, for that business customer, indirectly for that customer that's an entrepreneur, how do I provide that same back end so that you as a business owner aren't providing that same information over and over again? So unifying what we do in the back end. So I have that internal customer as well as being cognizant of those small businesses across the U.S.
Well, terrific. And lastly, and among the themes that we're hearing is the ability to gain more data analytics horsepower for employees. Can you talk a little about how you see cloud computing helping to advance your use of data and business intelligence to just make better business decisions?
SBA has a lot of good data. I've recently hired somebody in January to bring him in that's a data person to really look broadly across SBA about what we do with our data, how we share our data, who's using it, how are we visualizing that data, and putting some tools in place for the program offices so that they can take advantage of that data. I think we're tapping into some of it, and I'm seeing bits and pieces in the program offices, but with bringing somebody in who knows data, knows geospatial, they can take that data, overlay it, for example, and saying, loan applications, we have a lot of them coming from this city. Why do we have so many coming from this city? And being able to visualize that in a map and being able to show that where we've not had that capability before. I think the cloud, being able to take advantage of the tools and technologies that are out there is really going to help us jumpstart what we need to do with our data and the analytics and really be able to open it up and really see what we're doing.
Well, it sounds like an exciting time to be at SBA, and I appreciate
it. It is. I'm moving and shaking over there.
Terrific. Well, thanks for sketching out how you see cloud computing in particular helping advance some of the things that you're doing in the way of digital services for your customers.
Great. So, thank you.
Sure. I'm Wyatt Cash with FedScoop TV. Thanks for watching.